so let's dig into security a little bit more. So companies can sometimes not think about security as a top concern, a top consideration, and that is disastrous. Security is one of those things that where it goes when it's right and there's no infiltration and nobody's done anything wrong, you don't hear about and you don't have to worry about. When something goes wrong, it's a problem. I'm going to give you an example of this, one that you may have heard of. There's a company in Australia called Optus. Anyone heard of this company? Yeah, a couple of you. Yeah, it's sort of famous in the security world. So Optus is Australia's second largest telecommunications provider, about 10 million users. So they're pretty big, right? 10 million Australians have their details with Optus. One day, a mid-level developer in that company wanted to test out some work that he'd done, and somehow, for some reason, he was able to access the public database, and he connected that public database to his development. I mean, you get a shiver up your spine just hearing about this, right? And the worst happened. The absolute worst happened. Someone discovered that this had happened. It wasn't switched off, like somebody turned it on, was never switched off. Sometime later, 10 million records were taken. 10 million records. And I'm not just talking about names and email addresses. I'm talking driver's license numbers, passport numbers, because a mid-level developer did that. Now, was it that mid-level developer's fault? Actually, no. I mean, you could say, yeah, he should have known better. But how would he have known better? He would have been better trained. He wouldn't have had access to that public database. There should be no way in the world that database could ever be connected with a development pipeline. Just no way. So that's an obvious and horrific example. Millions of driver's licenses had to be reissued because of that. It was just horrific. And that guy probably felt really bad about it. But whose job was it? Well, okay, you got senior management. That's whose job it was. So as a developer on the tools, you should be pushing for higher security, because when things go wrong, you shouldn't get blamed for that. I mean, for sure, you need to do your due diligence and be cautious and everything else. But security is your concern, but it's also a management, it's an organizational concern.